So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called The Bloody Judge in 1970. I love this flick. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 stars. This is going to be another Jess Franco film. When I first saw the beginning of the film, it immediately brought to mind Witchfinder General, aka Conqueror Worm, which is another great flick about this time period and the Inquisition, Saxon rule in England around 1685. It's based on the real life Judge Jeffreys. He was kind of a stooge of the king who was being overthrown at the time, the Saxon king of England. I think his name is King James II or something like that. Forgive me if I don't know my British history, but yeah, it's kind of a mix between Conqueror Worm, Bloody Pit of Horror, and Caligula. I got the uncut version with all the nasty German scenes mixed in. Yeah, it's German dubbed scenes, kind of awkward, but very effective. Coming from Blue Underground, I've never been disappointed by any Blue Underground disc that I've seen. Matter of fact, I've loved every single Blue Underground DVD that I've ever watched, which is kind of unusual, but yeah, always top quality stuff there. Oh, here comes a car. I wonder what this car is all about. Returning. Okay. Hang on, I gotta take care of those people here. I'll be right back.
I made it. Here's the key.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're all set.
Right.
Sorry, I gotta go park this car. I'll be right back.
I'm a sophomore. There are 2 seniors in my room.
This lady just came back from the airport, so I'm gonna park her car. Sorry about that. I'll do this review while I'm parking her car. How's that? That way you don't have to wait like 5 minutes. Alright. She's got a little piggy on her car. Check it out. Anyways. Yeah, so there are 5 different versions of this film, much like Caligula, but the German scenes aren't really porn. They're kind of softcore, but very depraved, and only just Franco could do these scenes. I guess the German distributors wanted to make it into a porn movie, kind of softcore, because there are distributors from all over the world, and the only thing I didn't like about the bonus features, although they're very extensive and thorough about doing the bonus features on this disc, both Chistopher Lee and Jesus Franco, they both say, oh, there ought to be a law and against the distributors for changing the movie title to some really dumb things, like AIP called it Night of the Blood Monster, which has absolutely nothing to do with the movie. And of course, this version is not the AIP version. I can never get the AIP version of anything. I don't even think it exists on home video. So there's that. I'm gonna try to back this thing up. Although all the trailers and TV spots are Night of the Blood Monster, so that was pretty cool. Pretty cool of Blue Underground. But the thing I didn't like about the bonus features is, like I said, they both say, well, there ought to be a law against changing the movie title, which sounds like Tinto Brass in the bonus features for Caligula. Sounds a lot like him. And Jesus Franco sounds like a moron, chain smoking on his cigarettes while he says, oh, the EU ought to do something about this. Even the EU should get involved. The giant European superstate. It's kind of late for that. I think this movie was made in 1970, so what the hell is the EU going to do about it? They're going to change the home video titles? I don't understand what the hell he's talking about. I don't even think he knows what he's talking about. It's kind of ridiculous. And that's the only part I didn't like about the bonus features. It's got extensive interviews, like 25 minutes with Chistopher Lee and Jesus Franco. Chistopher Lee had a disagreement with Jess Franco over the historical accuracy, I guess you would call it. And anyways, backing up this car is kind of a pain in the arse, if you know what I mean. See, I'm really close to the pole back here, but it's hard to judge by looking at this screen. I'm just going to leave it like that. So Chistopher Lee says that the judge was kind of a Jekyll and Hyde character. Fortunately, though, Jess Franco didn't buy into his objections, which makes it even all the more better, because it's more sadistic and perverse kind of judge than what he actually was, his personality, I guess. Yeah, I did a pretty good job of backing that thing up, I think. Not bad. Anyways, I was glad that Jess Franco stuck to his guns and left it kind of the Caligula hyperbole kind of thing. Because it's a better movie that way. And Christopher Lee shows contempt for his fans by saying, people, a small minority actually watch this kind of thing. I guess he's talking about me. But, yeah, he refused to watch it. I guess he's the kind of guy who, like John Pertwee and Doctor Who, he thinks that his job is just to say the lines and he's done. His work is something separate from the whole kind of thing. Which is unfortunate. I didn't really care for the interviews too much. These conceited arseholes talking about how they're more important than the other people, like the distributors and stuff. I just thought it was asinine, the whole thing. So that's just my 2 cents worth. I think I've talked enough about all the different versions and the bonus features. Now let's get into the meat of the story. So this Judge Jeffreys guy is basically a stooge of the king. He's using witchcraft as an excuse to get rid of traitors against the king and whatnot. So he first goes after an alleged witch, who of course has nothing to do with witchcraft whatsoever. And yeah, he let's see, where did I park this? Parked it in 19, I think. So he uses torture and stuff against these people. At first he sentences the witch to burning at the stake. And Christopher Lee does a great job, by the way, playing Judge Jeffreys, the Mr. Hyde version of Judge Jeffreys, as he calls it, much to his chagrin. Then the sister is like heartbroken. She's kind of a impoverished lady. She gets the help of Henry, her name is Mary. She's blondie, and she gets naked a lot in this movie. Although one of the German scenes, they used different actors other than Christopher Lee, and I guess her name is Maria Rome or something like that. Maybe I'm getting her name mixed up, but I can tell that they're just shooting hands and legs and stuff, because the actress in the German scene has hairy legs, and the blondie in the movie doesn't. So they used body doubles, obviously, for that scene. There's another German lesbian scene which doesn't really make any sense in context of the movie, unless she's getting horny from watching all the sadism in the dungeon there. Anyways, pretty cool stuff, if you ask me. I don't care about Christopher Lee's opinion. He wouldn't get paid for these kind of movies if it wasn't for people like me. Although I was born when this movie came out, so it's kind of ironic that I'm watching it and pretending that I'm the one who's paying his salary. I guess it was the people in the Grindhouse theaters watching the AIP version, which is PG, by the way, because presumably it doesn't have the prurient German scenes in it. So I got the Blue Underground version, which is actually the better version. But people on Netflix will get tricked because it says rated PG, but it's really rated X, which kind of makes the rating system kind of dumb. It's like watching Angel and Heat, which is a PG movie with Marilyn Chambers. It's kind of a joke. I think it has to do with the confusion of the different distributors and the different versions. The Blue Underground disc has a pretty cool deleted scene from a VHS bootleg, believe it or not. And then there's a bunch of alternate scenes. Kind of cool, different German versions. So they kind of took the movie and made it the best way possible, I think, on this Blue Underground cut. I guess they made it the way the director kind of wanted it, or I guess a combination of the director and the distributors. So getting back to the movie, so she's heartbroken, grieving over her the burning of her sister, the burning alive, ordered by Judge Jeffreys, and she actually witnesses the whole thing. But she's kind of saved by this guy Henry, who's the son of the Chancellor of Wessex, I guess. Judge Jeffreys is the main chief magistrate, I guess, of the entire country, and he's specifically ordered by the king to impose this reign of terror on the king's political opponents, calling them witches and whatnot, and sentencing them to cruel death or torture, or both. The executioner in this one is excellent. He's got the bloody pit of horror costume on, but it's blue color. Kind of interesting. I guess it's modeled after, or it's inspired by Boris Karloff playing the executioner in, I forget the name of the movie, but Jess Franco mentions it in the bonus feature interview. It's the only mildly interesting thing that Jess Franco has to say while he's puffing away on his chain smoking on his cigarettes. Anyways, so she starts having some wild sex scenes with this guy Henry, the son of Wessex, I guess, and he's also a traitor against the king. So they round everybody up, and there's this blind witch who really doesn't have anything to do, apparently, with the plot. They round everybody up, and they start imposing cruel torture on them. They did that to the alleged witch, the Blondie's sister, before she was burned. They try to prove that she's a witch by making up all this nonsense torture stuff. And so they're all rounded up. They're faced with death by hanging and some other weird stuff that they do in combination with the hanging. I could pull up the one of the reviewers commented that Jess Franco was asked to do the battle scene on one of Orson Welles' films, one with King Vidor. So that was kind of interesting, but sorry if you didn't catch that that great Christopher Lee quote, but you can I'll try to post it in the description box. It's on the IMDb, the quote from Lord Jeffreys. Anyways, so they all get rounded up, they get tortured, and that's when you see the German kind of sex scenes in there. And yeah, cool flick. I can't say enough good things about it. Great cinematography, great acting. The soundtrack is great. It's just Jess Franco version of Conqueror Worm. I can't say enough good things. Conqueror Worm is probably one of my top 5 Vincent Price movies. I don't know why they call it Witchfinder General these days, but I used to have Conqueror Worm on VHS, I think. Great Vincent Price flick. This is going to be a ripoff on Conqueror Worm, aka Witchfinder General. Yeah, I'll try to find the movie and the whatever version of the movie is on YouTube, and also the trailer. And I'll post that quote in the description box because it won't connect when I switch over to Google to look up the great quote from Christopher Lee playing Lord Jeffreys. So I don't know. This movie exceeded my expectations, although my expectations were already high. And then when I turned on the DVD player, it was even more exciting when I saw Blue Underground. All the bonus features, notwithstanding the crappy 25-minute interviews with Christopher Lee and Jess Franco, but yeah, pretty cool stuff. Great flick. Can't say enough good things about it. Highly recommended. Check it out. And yeah, that's the end of my review. Laters.